Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the UX Voyager where we think and talk about designs. And today, we are riding on one of the key elements that contributes to the experience of building a product or solution: persona. Yes, you heard me right. User personas. 9.75 case studies out of 10 will feature a persona that was used to inform the design decisions and product development with an aim to meet the actual needs of users. However, people have misinterpreted this particular element because it is used more as a checklist rather than its actual purpose when documenting case studies. You would see things like Michael, 42, loves going to the gym and drinking organic tea with a very fine stock photo beside it. And by the time you read the entire case study, it all feels disjointed. I'm guilty as well. So, we are going to separate the chaff from the grains and talk about what personas are, why they matter, and how to make them work for real life solutions. Let's be honest, most personnel looks the same. They have this fictional character that someone spent hours creating with stock photos, favorite food, and relationship status. Then they just stay in the project, never to be referenced again. I've done personas that read like dating profiles. You know what I mean? Jennifer, she is 28, works in a bank, drives a Toyota Camry, and she enjoys partying on weekends with friends. Sounds like a cool story, yeah? But how does knowing Jennifer's car preference helps me design a better checkout experience? Think about it. We create these detailed characters because the boot camps, the templates told us that we needed personas, but we miss out on the entire point of why they actually exist. The truth is not that personas are bad. The problem is that we have turned them into some creative writing exercises instead of research tools. Maybe because they said our case study has to show some sort of storytelling. Maybe. But what is a persona? A persona is simply a way to summarize and communicate patterns you have observed or found in your user research. That's it. It is not a real person and is not meant to be. It is a representative way of saying here is a group of users who behave similarly when they interact with your product. Think about it like you interviewed 20 people about how they book flights online. You might notice that some people always compare prices across different sites, while some would just book directly with the airlines they trust. Some people usually book months in advance, while others wait for last minute. These are some behavioral patterns and not personality traits that most of our personas usually represent. So I think you're following me, yeah? A good persona captures these patterns and, importantly, the context behind them. You get to ask yourself questions like, why do some users compare prices? Maybe they are booking personal trips on a tight budget. Why do others stick with one airline? Maybe they are business travelers or they just value predictability over savings. The goal of a persona is not to create a complete human being. You are not God. The goal is to create something that you can remember something that makes you remember who you are designing for and why they behave the way they do. So I will highlight some of the mistakes I made in the past so we can learn from them. The first is personas need to be useful. Persona needs to be detailed to be useful. At the time, I used to use details of my friends and all that, but this is wrong. The best personas have a focus, particularly on behaviors, motivations, and context related to your product. Everything else are reward journey. It is noise. Second thing is that you need personas for every project. All my case studies then are Kimbale. If I have not added 2 to 3 personas, I'm not at peace with myself. that is actually wrong as well. If you're designing a simple form or some UI redesign, you probably don't need personas. They are most useful when solving complex problem or you are designing for multiple user types. Another one I do is trying to make personas represent my entire user base. Hey, nope. Personas should represent the users you are designing for in that specific project. If you're building a feature for power users, don't create personas for casual users just because you're trying to be comprehensive. I also used to think that demographics are the most important part. This is a big one. Age, gender, and location may matter much less than you think. A 25-year-old startup founder and a 45-year-old marketing director might have identical behaviors when using your B2B software. So focus on what they are trying to accomplish, not what they look like. Let me cover my eyes and say this one. Personas replace talking to real users. Maybe my excuse would be that I was creating a fictional case study too, so then I can't just do anything. But on no occasion will personas replace talking to real users because they are based on research with real users, but they are not a substitute. They are tools that would help you remember and communicate what you have learned from your research. So I'll share like a simple framework for creating a useful persona. If you want to create a persona, start with actual research. I cannot overemphasize this. Interview users, observe them using your product, analyze tickets, look at usage data. Personas without research are just super stories. We are nothing but pencils in the hand of the creator. Secondly, you must focus on behaviors and motivations. What are users trying to accomplish? What is driving their decisions? What frustrates them? These are the things that actually influence your design decisions. 3. Always include context. I'll still expatiate more on this, but always include context. Where are they? Where are they when they are using your product? What device are they using? What's their mindset like? Are they stressed, relaxed, or multitasking? Context actually shape behavior more than personality ever will. Also, you need to make them specific to your product. A persona for a banking app should focus on financial behaviors and attitudes, not hobbies and favorite movies. I like swimming, they like hanging out, partying ish. Well, maybe partying would show some, particularly if it is showing some financial attitude. Finally, keep them actionable. Every piece of information should help you make design decisions. If it doesn't, cut, you're already making a movie. Enough of all this cho. Let me read out what a good persona might look like. Might, emphasis on might. My case, people who do research before buying anything online. So I would say prudent online shoppers who research extensively before purchasing. They compare prices across multiple sites, read reviews, and often abandon carts to think about what they want to buy overnight. They shop primarily using their mobile phones while on transits and lunch breaks, so they need to be able to save item and continue later. Price transparency and detailed product information are critical for their confidence. If you notice, I have not said any name. Obviously, there's no photo yet attached, or maybe you don't have any photo in mind. There's no age, there's no favorite color, but you can understand immediately how to design for these particular users. And the best part of it is that they will be used actively. The best personas are always referenced constantly. Put them on your wall, include them in your project brief, reference them in design reviews or demos. If the team is not talking about persona regularly, then it is safe to say that it is not working. Why it is important for me to take you on this voyage is because working in Nigeria, I see many designers copying persona templates from top companies in America, maybe some Google UX course. complete American cultural references and assumptions. This does not serve us. Nigerian users have a unique context. This is the context I was talking about. We are the largest diverse black race with over 250 ethnic groups and more than 500 languages. We have our agendas defined. Internet connectivity and access varies. Mobile data are expensive, and payment preferences actually differs from cash, transfers, etc. and the likes. So, your persona needs to reflect these realities. Don't assume Western users' patterns or their behavior apply here. You need to do your own research. Talk to Nigerian users about their actual experiences, frustrations, and workarounds. Build personas that reflect our context, not someone else's. A persona that works for Lagos business owners might not work for a small business owner in Kano. So you need to be specific about who you're designing for. The end, look me cinema. So, in conclusion, personas are not about creating fake people because they have simply said personas are fictional characters. So you just jump on Figma and start creating a persona for fake people. No, they are about remembering real patterns in user behavior and keeping those patterns front, back, and center of your mind while designing. Put away the stock photos and favorite food. Well, maybe if you want to, after including all the important things, then you can just make it look so nice by adding a photo. But your photo too must also speak to context and must also communicate what that person is speaking about. So you need to focus on behaviors, motivations, and context. All of these things has to be based on real research. Make them specific to the product that you are designing for and the users who are going to be using them, your target audience. There's a difference between your target audience and your persona, but your target audience obviously are being featured in your persona. So you do this, and personas become one of the most powerful tools in your UX toolkit. Thank you for listening. I am your host, Mubarak Babajide, and I hope you enjoyed your voyage. See you next time. Ciao.